All right, hey there, good morning. I am meteorologist Ben Peine, and it is your Extol weather, Extol Media Ben at 10 on this Friday. Happy Friday, TGIF. It is October the 17th on a beautiful morning. Little bit of a nip in the air this early morning. We had low temps down to the 40s and 50s. Going to be a beautiful day. Just seeing a few high clouds streaming over, but a lot of blue sky as well across the area. Thanks for dropping in the comments, letting us know where you're watching from, even if it's just a good morning. But please, if you have any weather questions, we can look at all the different weather maps. If I'm leaving anything out, feel free to ask a question. So we've got some big changes on the way this weekend. Much advertised big changes with a pretty strong, potent fall front that's going to move through overnight Saturday into Sunday morning. It's a low severe weather threat, thankfully, but we are going to get some gusty winds out of it. And a lot of us are going to be sleeping through the chance of thunderstorms as most of this likely will come in after midnight tomorrow night and into Sunday morning. And then we're left with windy and cool, blustery conditions for Sunday. Some of the windiest conditions we've seen in quite some time. So put away things you don't want to blow away for Sunday. Now, tomorrow it's going to be a little bit breezy. It's going to be warm and temperatures will be in the 80s. And then we'll kind of settle down next week and just shift into a bit of a cooler weather pattern. So we've got a lot to talk about. We'll have your weather jokes, your weather history, your detailed forecast, digging into the weather models, and all of that fun stuff here on this Friday. Let's take a peek outside, shall we? And then we'll get to some comments popping in as well. And it is a beautiful view here along the Falls of the Ohio. Here is the Falls of the Ohio Foundation camera. You can find this at fallsoftheohio.org. And that's what I'm talking about. You can see just a few of the high clouds drifting over on this cool Friday morning. Also, do you have any plans this weekend? Let us know if there's any festivals happening in your area. I was just checking the live stream there, but there's some of the high wispy cirrus clouds up in the upper deck of the atmosphere, looking over Ashland Park, the Clarksville, New Albany, and Louisville waterfront there. So some nice conditions all across the region. We'll get your forecast here right off the top as well as we take a look at our weather headlines here for your October the 17th. Just a fantastic Friday, 70s, sunshine, light southeast breeze today. And I've got to take advantage of these live shows from the back deck because once it gets chillier, it's not good for the computers. So eventually won't be able to do live from the back deck until sometime probably next springtime. So we're going to take advantage of the beautiful conditions out here. 80s and breezy tomorrow and dry. That rain coming in late Saturday night and into Sunday, most likely after midnight. And then cool and windy. We're talking 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts Sunday and some showers lingering Sunday as well. Probably going to pick up around a half inch to an inch of rainfall out of this system this weekend. So your pick day of the weekend is going to be tomorrow, and then Sunday, not so great. Going to be good to just be inside and watch some football. 75 for the afternoon high, 72 at 6 p.m., and a 68 at 8 p.m. Good weather for our Friday night football. 0% chance of rain today, and that southeast wind at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. So all things looking good for today, pretty good for tomorrow as well. We'll drop in a few of these comments that I'm starting to see here before we get back to a look at your forecast. And by the way, take a look at the radar and satellite. It is nice and clear around the region. As we back up our view, we still have high pressure, and that's keeping it dry around our region, some showers out west, but pretty quiet conditions overall, pretty wet over the Great Lakes. But as we come back home here, things are looking nice and clear overhead right now. And again, going to pull up some of these comments here in just 1 second and say hello to you all. And thanks for being here on the show and being part of the weather family this morning. We have, as always, here's on a chill Friday morning, a cheers with the Bliss Cup this morning. We've got a good morning here from Beverly Haggis. As always, I don't know how you do it. The first comment every time. 46 degrees, the low temperature in Borden at 6:45. We've got John Fox popping in from the Okolona area. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Orlean Whitlow, good morning. Beautiful day. Have a good weekend. You as well. Lillian Lasley now has 58 at the house. That's kind of been the trend. 40s, 50s. And by the end of the show, we start to make our way into the 60s with the sunshine across the area. Christian Walker with a live report from Carmel, Indiana, with 50s there, 55 in Carmel. Sunday, still not good for flying. You got that right. It's going to be a rather blustery day with those gusty winds, which we'll take a look at again as well. As we have plenty to cover. As again, it's a low severe weather threat, but we'll talk about that as well for the overnight period for late Saturday night and into Sunday. I want to bring up some of our weather resources here for you. extolmag.com/weather. There you can see my goofy face with our live stream. And current conditions got 49 there. Again, we're currently warming up here minute by minute as the sun continues to rise. There's the brand new 7-day forecast, the brand new forecast for today that I've posted there with the weather story. And here's the day 1 and day 2 severe weather risk. Now, this gets a little more interesting as we pop up the day 2 severe weather risk from the Storm Prediction Center. Our area is under level 1 out of 5. So it's the lowest risk of severe weather. The slight risk is over western Kentucky and centered there over Arkansas. With that said, it has a 2% chance of a tornado from basically along I-65 into the west during the overnight again and into Sunday morning. What does that mean, 2%? That means if you put a point, say your house, and draw a 25-mile circle around you, 2% chance within that circle there would be a tornado. Super small. So thankfully, not a big deal with that. And then you look at the wind, that's a 5% chance, 25-mile circle around your house, that could happen. And then no hail threat here as we look at the risk for our area. There is a little risk with the stronger storms to our southwest, just west of the lower Mississippi River Valley. And again, you can find these resources here with the Storm Prediction Center right there at extolmag.com/weather. The drought monitor updated yesterday took us out of the drought, which is also good news here for us. There is the interactive radar. You can see those temperatures in the 50s around our area as I zoom out our view. There you can see some of that rain off to the north and a little bit over Arkansas as well. But another beautiful day all across the region here. Do want to give a shout out to our sponsors and partners here with Lions Roofing, lionsroofingco.com, protecting your most valuable asset for a lifetime. Hopefully the roofs are in good shape with this rain and wind on the way this weekend. But if you have any issues after the storms, you get your free estimates here online, or you can give them a call. It's probably the easiest way to do it. In Indiana or Kentucky and throughout the metro area, 812-294-3595. And they've got a careers section right there. And if you click on that, they've got a roofing repair technician job opening there. And if you want to level up your career, you can go to Ivy Tech Community College right here in our backyard in Sellersburg. They've got a Trunk or Treat Family Fest event happening October 30th. So what is it, a couple Thursdays from now? You can head out there right before Halloween and have a great time. It's a big event there for them in the community. We've got Tuesdays at the Tech where you can sign up and get one-on-one information there on the campus and learn more about financial aid, career path, direction, counseling, everything you need. They're going to make it as easy as possible for you. And you can see all the different programs that they have to offer there at ivytech.edu. Just click on the Sellersburg campus. And here's my buddy Michael Long, my insurance agent. If you want to get a quote, they've had auto renewal reductions, which I saw reflected on my bill, thankfully. Go to amfam.com and then search Michael Long, or you can just give him a call. Tell him I sent you there, 812-578-3072. And Libs Paving, the largest paving asphalt contractor around the region. You got a career section right here. And at the bottom, you can see the opportunities that are still available. And if you want to apply there, you can do that online, libspaving.com. And what, again, a beautiful start that we have all across the area. You can see the high wispies, the cirrus clouds in the upper deck of the atmosphere here this morning on a lovely Friday. Again, TGIF to you. And a reminder, too, that whenever you want, let me remove that and bring this one up. There you go. If you want to get in contact with me anytime you want, Ben at extolmag.com or Jason at extolmag.com. And if you want to advertise your business, get the word out, we'll be your Southern Indiana or Kentucky, all around the region megaphone for your advertising marketing solutions. That's how you can get in contact with me. We've reached 1.5 million views over the last 28 days. Thanks to all you guys tuning in to the content we're putting out there. And of course, that's a bigger reach when you include all of the Extol media products. Getting to that forecast here today, a fantastic Friday, 80s and breezy Saturday. Saturday night, Sunday rain and storms is what we're going to be tracking in more detail hour by hour now that we've got the high resolution weather model data. We've got a lot to look at here as we dig into it. Cool, windy with some showers on Sunday. One of the breeziest days we've seen in a long time with 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts on Sunday. All right, the play ball forecast, 75 this afternoon, 72 at 6 p.m., 68 at 8 p.m. We've been on repeat here. This is day 10 of dry weather. And not much to track here, Christian. The tropics have settled down for now. And you got that right with your forecast there. All right. Just looking at the comments there for a second. Here's our countdown as it continues. Average highs in the 60s in 2 days. That's Sunday. What's interesting about that, Sunday, our normal highs go to the 60s. Our temps will drop to the 60s. And our sunsets are before 7 p.m. at 6:59 p.m. on Sunday. The time change when we go to a 5:42 p.m. sunset, this is scary. It's only 16 days away. Boo for that. Average first flurries in about 29 days. And Thanksgiving in just 41 days. Got to start prepping for that. Here's our weather history. A lot of it today. 1910, Category 4 hurricane moved north-northeast, passing just east of the Dry Tortugas. And the maximum storm surge observed in Key West was 8 feet with 15-foot waves at what is now Fort Zachary Taylor State Park. 1971, an EF2 was on the ground for about a mile, but happened to make a direct hit on downtown section of Ray, Colorado. 5 businesses were destroyed in mobile homes. Trees 3 feet in diameter were uprooted. 1984, into the 18th, Salt Lake City received a record-breaking 18 inches of lake-effect snow in a 24-hour period, $1 million in damage. The storm was responsible for a 50-vehicle pileup along Interstate 15 near Farmington, Utah. 1988, near Libertyville in Universal, Indiana. That's just north of Terre Haute. A tornado injures 4. In 1998, this is a big one. During the weekend of October 17th to 18th, torrential rain fell over southern and southeastern Texas. Up to 22 inches of rain fell, resulted in deadly flash flooding in San Antonio to Austin, followed by record-breaking river floods along several South Texas rivers the following week. The flood peak for this event was the highest known peak at 15 locations. Tragically, 31 people died during the event, 26 drownings, 2 tornado deaths, 2 heart attacks, and 1 electrocution/drowning. Details are crazy with this. At least 17 of the drowning victims were in vehicles driven into water. That's why we always say, turn around, don't drown. Flooding, the most dangerous thing out of storms. Okay, Orlean, great question here. How cold does it have to be to frost? So the National Weather Service definition of that is 36 degrees because the thermometers are about 6 feet off the ground. But at your feet level and even underneath the grass, the cold air sinks and can be 4 degrees colder than that in just that little bit of space. So right around 36 is when you can get a little bit of frost. And then you get a freeze, 32 degrees. And then a hard freeze, I believe, is 28 degrees. So I'm still not seeing really any terribly cold conditions on the way for any kind of widespread frost for the rest of this month. We'll get little chill spells here and there, but nothing really cold. It is a nice thing to get a frost this time of the year and that freeze, because then we kill off, some of the bugs and the pollen and things like that. And when you do start to get those first freezes in late fall, if you take a walk around in the woods, you can see the frost flowers from capillary action. The stems of dying weeds and things like that are still pulling up moisture from the ground from capillary action. And then little breaks in the stems, the water starts to come out. It freezes as it comes out and starts to make these artistic looking frost flowers, which a lot of people have never seen because it doesn't happen very often. You got to be at the right. You got to take a hike in the morning usually to see them before they melt off. So pretty cool thing there. All right, we're moving right along here on a Friday. We're now up to the weather jokes, and let's take a look at what we got here. These are storm-related weather jokes because we've got the storms on the way this weekend. I try to keep the jokes related to what's happening, at this time of the year and what's happening. Why didn't the lightning take part in the storm? It was on strike. How do you catch fish in a thunderstorm? With a lightning rod. What happens when a turtle gets hit by lightning? It gets shell shocked. This is like safe jokes for kindergarten today. PG jokes today. Moving right along here. Here's the forecast for your Friday, October the 17th. 75 degrees, a little bit warmer than yesterday, but mostly sunny. Southeast wind at 5 to 10, or sunset at 7 to 1. Again, before 7 p.m., sunsets begin on Sunday. Christian, we're going to be looking at the weather models here in just a second for you. Stay tuned. All right, our Friday night football looking good this evening. Once again, we've had a lot of great weather for our Friday football. We've got Floyd Central at New Albany, North Harrison at Providence, Charlestown at Eastern, Jennings County at Jeff, Brownstown Central at Scottsburg, North Knox at Paoli, Crawford County at Clarksville, Cordon Central at Silver Creek, Salem at West Wash, and Seymour is up at Indy. Good luck to all the teams, and I hope all the players stay safe. All right, moving right along. 60 degrees, our low for tonight. A little bit milder. Probably have some clouds passing through. There's a pretty cool wispy cloud right above the Borden Valley right now. Very neat looking cloud. Partly cloudy tonight, slight southeast breeze, and 7:55 sunrise tomorrow. So tomorrow's forecast, breezy and warmer, a high of 84 degrees. Not too far off record highs. I think the record is 87 in Louisville. But rather warm ahead of the front, south wind kicking in, some wind gusts maybe around 20, 25, but we're going to get the gustier conditions on Sunday. Our average high is 70, so we're almost 15 degrees above normal. Lillian Lasley giving me the confidence here with the awesome good jokes today. All right, so tomorrow is dry during the daytime, it looks like here for us, and then rain moves in late tomorrow night and into Sunday morning. And we continue to have some showers around Sunday. Just not a great day. A 20-degree drop in temperatures from Saturday to Sunday. It'll probably feel chillier than that Sunday with those winds gusting 30 to 40 miles per hour, down to 45 Sunday night. Next week looks pretty quiet right now. The models have these kind of dry fronts that move through, just reinforcing some of the cool air. Not much moisture to work with, so not much of a rain chance at this point. The models are really muddy, meaning there's not a lot of an agreement for late next week. Right now I'm keeping it dry. That might change late next week. Hopefully we keep next weekend dry because we've got a lot going on. But you can see our highs in the 60s, lows in the 40s. So some chillier mornings, definitely a warmer jacket in the morning, and then pleasantly mild, and actually where temperatures are pretty much should be for this time of the year as we head into next week. And again, a lot going on next weekend as well. We got IUS Fest at the IUS campus. It's October 25th. Fun family event for the entire family. They've got beer and wine for the parents. They've got treats and all different kinds of things, educational things for the kids out there. And then following that, October 30th is the Trunk or Treat Fest with games and music, pumpkin crafts, trick-or-treating food. That's Thursday, October the 30th at Ivy Tech. So our educational institutions having some good events right here in our backyard coming up. Some fall events heading our way very soon. All right, we're going to bring up the weather models. It's 10:18. We're right on time here this morning as we typically dig into the models right around 10:20. And we've got some interesting maps to look at here for you. So let me get rid of that, bring this guy back up. And so the live look is beautiful out there, but let's bring up, and let me really quickly back out of that. There we go. And bring up the maps. So the radar and satellite, very quiet around the region, as we saw a little bit earlier. Mostly clear sky, just some high wispies, cirrus clouds in the basically the upper deck of the atmosphere. We talked about the severe weather risk from the Storm Prediction Center. No risk for us for today. That's a level 1 out over the Great Plains in western Missouri. And then our day 2, which is going to be our late Saturday night and into Sunday, that has our area as you see, under level 1 out of 5 in the severe weather risk categories. That dark green is level 1 out of 5, called marginal risk. The Storm Prediction Center's one big job, they're a division of the National Weather Service. They look across the United States to see where severe weather might happen. So they put out these maps, the severe with convective outlooks is what they're called. And you can see these at spc.noaa.gov. The yellow is level 2. That's a slight risk down over the Mississippi Valley, western Kentucky, western Tennessee, into Arkansas, southern Missouri. More energy for severe weather down that direction. The probability of a tornado, as we talked about, along and west of I-65 is 2%. That means during the overnight period, if you put a point, say your house, draw a 25-mile circle around you, 2% chance of a little spin-up tornado. So super low chance of that. And the overall severe weather threat's low as well. And then as we look at the wind threat, this is a 5% chance. So still a low threat of that. And then, again, that slight risk, that higher risk is off to the southwest. We've got a good morning from Jeanette Pierce. Good morning from Litchfield. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for tuning in here. Patty Brown's watching this morning. Thanks for tuning in to the show. And so that is the risk. Now let's look at the weather models. Let's bring them up. We are going to start with we typically start with the HRRR, the high resolution rapid refresh weather model. We're now within the 48-hour range where we can look at the high res and time out the storms on the way. So I'm going to jump ahead to Saturday because there's not much happening out there today. So this is Saturday morning at 8 a.m. I'm going to jump ahead to the afternoon because, again, everything's pretty much out west of us through the day. Saturday. So this is popping on the data at 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Storms out to the west. I'll jump ahead towards sunset at 7 p.m. It's a little eager with a rain chance in southern Indiana tomorrow evening. Some of the models don't bring anything until after midnight. So you can see the active weather and the stronger storms down over Arkansas tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. and some heavy rain lining up out to the west. Let's watch the progression of this. We go to 10 p.m. Saturday night. There you can see most of the active weather still out to our west. Big blob of rain out that direction. We are testing out the Starlink internet right now. Every once in a while, I feel like I see me glitching a little bit. All right, because we are pumping in some data. All right, so let's go to midnight, Saturday night. Starting to see the rain move into the area. And the good part about having a system move in overnight, I mean, you don't want a severe weather threat overnight, obviously, because you're sleeping and a lot of people don't wake up to the warnings. But the good part about this is the storms do lose energy because you don't have that daytime heating. So there's not as much fuel for the storms. But nonetheless, we'll keep an eye on it. And this is at 2 a.m. There you can see that rain starting to move into the region. And we will go to 4 o'clock in the morning. And there's the line of showers and thunderstorms moving through during the wee hours of Sunday morning. This is at 4 a.m. We'll stop it here at around 7 o'clock, right around sunrise. Sunday, chilly rain showers. And we're going to the very end. This is the 48-hour of the HRRR, high resolution rapid refresh weather model. Now let's go to the 3-kilometer NAM weather model. I'm going to back this back up to 8 a.m. Saturday. We're just comparing and contrasting the high res weather models, the active weather out west. I'm going to jump ahead into the afternoon Saturday. This is at 3 p.m. Once the data loads, weather is still out west. Going to 7 o'clock on our Saturday. There you see it has everything out west. So the NAM is a bit slower with the progression of this system than is the HRRR weather model. I'm kind of on board with the slower weather models. David Smith, the Starlink was a game changer. I mean, we were running internet for our kids trying to do school through COVID and we get horrible cell phone reception out here. We were barely getting by with the internet before the Starlink. So it's definitely a blessing for our area. Going into 11 p.m. Saturday night with the NAM 3 kilometer. There you can see the slower output here with the NAM 3 kilometer. Again, I'm kind of buying this solution rather than the more eager HER weather model. And then this is at 2 a.m. as we go to 4 o'clock. I think both are on board with that line of showers and thunderstorms moving through. There you can see it around 4 a.m. Sunday morning. So some of us might wake up to some thunder early Sunday morning, and then going here to 7 o'clock around sunrise Sunday and through the morning time Sunday, we have some lingering showers behind that front, and we're going to get some gusty winds. Speaking of the gusty winds, let's see if we've got the wind gust map that we can pop on here. And these winds are not associated with thunderstorms, by the way. They are just what we call gradient winds, the wind gradient from the pressure gradient, the strong difference in air pressure. So that's showing a 35 there, 30. So we're talking gusts around 30 to 40 miles per hour. So that is, and this is the NAM weather model for 2 p.m. on Sunday, which is October the 19th. So there you go. It is going to be a blustery Sunday and gusty day that we haven't seen in quite some time. So I think a lot of the leaves will be blown around. It won't take off all the leaves, of course, because some of our leaves are still green. But I think we're gonna have the leaves blown. They're gonna be falling. It is fall. They're gonna be falling off with these gusty winds. So there you go. That's kind of the big story for Sunday. The leftover showers, blustery conditions, and much cooler conditions as well. As I clear that off, we bring up the temperature map here, and look at this. 2 p.m. it has 50s. I think we'll make it into the 60s, but that's rather cool. Here's at 5 o'clock. So this is the NAM weather model showing the Sunday chill. All right, let me bring up the GFS weather model for Sunday at 5 p.m. It also shows 50s. So who knows? Maybe I'll have to drop the temps a little bit for Sunday afternoon. That'd be one of our chilliest afternoons we've seen in a long time. So a pretty raw day Sunday. Great indoor day to wrap up our weekend. Get the crock pot going, get the soup flowing, get the chili ingredients. Going to be that kind of day for Sunday. Now we'll take this into our Monday morning, and we'll take a peek at the long range and see if we can get some 30s to pop on eventually later this month. But it looks like we're talking lower to mid 40s as we get started for our Monday morning. So a warmer jacket, and the winds will start to die down Sunday night after the gusty conditions. And Vicky Berger saying, having trouble getting you on Facebook, so I got you on the YouTube. Thanks for watching there on the good old YouTube. Facebook was being a little glitchy for me this morning as well. And Beverly Hayes has the Verizon cell phone and Verizon internet. Love it. I'm glad that works for you. On this side of the hill, we're kind of blocked by the cell phone towers. We don't get that good of reception. But again, thankfully, the Starlink does pretty well. Hopefully, we don't glitch out after I say that. But so here's our Monday in the 60s. And again, as we saw the 7-day forecast earlier, we're looking at highs in the 60s for pretty much all of next week and lows in the 40s. I don't know why this is having trouble. There you go. So there's our Monday afternoon. Well, that makes sense, Beverly. Got the good reception with that tower up behind the school. Good location for you for sure. So with that said, let's look for some cold air, shall we? We're backing up our view. So we have a Pacific flow. The jet stream is off of the Pacific probably for the rest of this month. Let me bring up the 500 millibar map. We're getting pretty nerdy now. And since we're going to go start to look at the long range, it is now time for the little coffee break. So Pacific flow, jet stream off of the Pacific Ocean means milder weather. If we get a polar flow, you're going to get colder weather. So right now, we're under the influence of an overall flow from the Pacific. This is the jet stream map. And there you can see this flow. This is on the 20th. So we're just going to jump ahead here and there. I'm going to take this late next week. So we'll go next Friday, the 24th. Wavy jet. Look at this jet stream. Pretty cool looking. Let me bring this up full screen. So when you get a wavy jet stream, you're going to have some ups and downs. You're going to have some stormy periods. And if we're underneath this ridge right here, that's going to keep us on the milder side. You got to get above the jet stream up here, up in Canada. That's where the really cold air is locked in. But notice the source of the jet is coming off of the Pacific right here. So that is an active, strong jet stream. I mean, those winds, let's take a look at the wind speeds. The jet stream is, there you go, 130 mile per hour winds. This is up at around 18,000 feet, kind of the beginning of the jet stream that goes up to about 35,000 feet. So coming off of the Pacific there, and then let's go farther down the road because that would still be on the mild side. It was, the model's been calling around late month, around the 29th, where the jet stream might start to take a dip. Still is. So this is at 5 p.m. on the 29th, which would be a couple Wednesdays from now. But notice that dive in the jet stream, that might start to pull in some chillier numbers for our area. And so now we'll bring up the temperature map to see if that coincides. So there you go. When the jet stream takes a dive, so do the temperatures. So there you can see that cold air being unlocked from Canada. Will this happen? We'll see. We're on the Ben on a Limb segment here. So things that far out with the weather model sometimes don't come into play. But eventually that cold air is going to win out, that air mass. So that is 5 p.m. on the 29th. That's the coldest I've seen the GFS get for us. Now, this is we're on a limb here. We'll see if this happens. This is the first I've seen the GFS get this cold. That's in the afternoon. That is a 5 p.m. Ooh, that would be some good stuff right there. Who wants the cold weather? Who wants a scene like this? From my neighbor Keith Hennessy, who's on the show sometimes. I'm not calling for snow, by the way. I'm just saying there's maybe we'll see the models trend this direction. So what does that mean if we go into 318 hours out on the morning of Thursday the 30th? That's not that bad. That is a weird chill dropping down. This is 8 a.m. on the 29th. So check that out. So that is cold air dropping in. This is on the 29th. Let's see when that begins. We back this view up a little bit. So here's the 28th. So this would be Wednesday, 28th, still on the mild side. And then watch as that cold air starts to drop in to the region. Again, we'll see if this happens. We'll keep it in the back of our minds if this actually will happen or not. This is October the 30th. This is Thursday, chilly temperatures. We're going to run out of data here in a second because this is as far out as the GFS is going to go here pretty soon. So that's the biggest chill I've seen on the models as so far this season. That's some chilly air winning out across much of the United States. So we'll see if that trend continues. This is November 1st. Hard to believe it really anything that far out, but there you go. Maybe we have a decent weather pattern change. I wonder if any kind of precipitation this has. So that has that front right around the 29th. We've got a murder of crows out here. And I'm bringing up the reflectivity. So that, all right, so it's got some precip trying to drop in. That makes sense with that cold air. Sorry, I'm looking at the data the same time you are here. Those crows are loud. This is the precipitation type, so that's just rainfall. All right. So, all right, there we go. So now let's bring up the Climate Prediction Center's outlooks here. This is the 6 to 10 day outlook. Ooh, for the first time. Getting us right at or below normal with the 6 to 10 day outlook. There we go. Because next week we do drop to the 60s. Patty Brown saying, looking forward to the colder weather from earlier, and Orlean Whitlow saying, not looking forward to that cold weather, but. And we're going to do a forecast recap here in just a second. If you popped on a little bit later, we'll go over all those details here in just a second. It's the 8 to 14 day outlook. So looking at a couple of weeks out, as we did with the GFS weather model just now. Kind of near normal, maybe some ups and downs, above normal temperatures up to the north through the 8 to 14 day outlook. What's up with the crow being loud? Heading your way, Beverly. They're heading to the northwest. All right. So that's that, guys. Let's get back to the forecast here. That has been. All righty. Let me see if I can bring up the current conditions before we wrap things up here on a Friday. This should do it. Yeah, down to the 30s. Probably getting some mountain snows here over the next couple of weeks with that flow off the Pacific. There's that surge of warm air just out to our west. And so we're going to be in the 80s tomorrow. So look at the contrast in temperatures. These are the current temperatures with the weather observation stations at the airports. And it's easy. We could play the find the front game, which that is super easy to do, cutting through Minnesota, Nebraska, down into Texas. 20s and 30s here. And then we've got the 50s and 60s out ahead of the front. And that strong front's going to be moving through again overnight Saturday and into Sunday morning. Low severe weather threat, but some gusty thunderstorms possible during the overnight period Saturday into Sunday morning. All right, that is that. Let's go ahead and bring up the forecast here this morning. Still hearing a lot of acorns dropping in the trees. And what a beautiful start it is around the area. Look at the high wispy clouds, the cirrus clouds. It's the Falls of the Ohio Foundation.org camera. We get a little moisture ahead of this system in the upper deck of the atmosphere. That's why you're seeing some of these high clouds. We've had like crystal clear blue sky days lately. We just had very dry air, and now we're starting to see some high level moisture coming in out ahead of that system. All right, let's get to the forecast. Let's bring it up. All right. So, your weather headlines for today for your October 17th. Just a fantastic Friday today. 70s this afternoon, 80s tomorrow, and a little bit breezy. Some of the wind gusts could be around 20 to 25. And then Saturday overnight, especially after midnight, we'll have showers and storms moving through. Some lingering rain showers Sunday. So cool, windy, and showery Sunday. Temps in the 50s and 60s. 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts on Sunday. Play ball forecast today, though. Get out and enjoy. 75 for 4 p.m., 72 at 6, 68 at 8 p.m. Light southeast breeze today. We're only 2 days away from average highs in the 60s. That is on Sunday, and that's when we have that temperature drop. And that is also when we have the before 7 p.m. sunsets on Sunday. Our time change, boo, in only 16 days, 5:42 p.m. sunset, November 2nd. Average first flurries in about a month, Thanksgiving in 41 days. We had a lot of weather history today. I'm going to slap that on Facebook at around noon today. You can see that in more detail. And our weather jokes today. Why didn't the lightning take part in the storm? It was on strike. How do you catch fish in a thunderstorm? With a lightning rod. What happens when a turtle gets hit by lightning? It gets shell-shocked. These are like kindergarten style jokes today. All right, Friday, October 17th. That is today. 75 degrees, a little bit warmer out there. Partly mostly sunny. Some of those high clouds coming in. Southeast breeze around 5 to 10. Sunset at 7:01. Here is your Friday night football forecast. It's looking good for Floyd Central at New Albany, North Harrison at Providence, Charleston at Eastern, Jennings County at Jeffersonville, Brownstown Central at Scottsburg, North Knox at Paoli, Crawford County at Clarksville, Cordon Central at Silver Creek, Salem at West Wash, and Seymour's up in Indy. Be safe to all our players. Hope you all have a great game. Our low tonight is 60 degrees, a little bit milder, partly cloudy, light southeast breeze. And what's happening in your community, your neighborhood? Any festivals going on that I need to know about that I can take a trip to and check out? Let us know if there's something happening around your area. Drop it in the comments. 75 at noon tomorrow, 84 at 4 p.m. I think there's a festival by the river in Bethlehem, Indiana. So our pick day this weekend is tomorrow, and the Sunday is pretty much garbage. 30 to 40 mile per hour winds and some showers Sunday. And there we go. Here's the 7-day forecast. So we're dropping it down a notch. We've been in the 70s with sunshine for like 10 days, and now we're dropping to a pattern in the 60s, lows in the 40s for next week. Monday, 68, looks like nice and pleasant there. A mostly dry front's going to move through Tuesday. Might pick up the breezes a little bit. Looks like 60s, though, still, and a little chillier for those mornings, Tuesday, Wednesday mornings in the upper 30s and low 40s. And then pretty quiet weather Thursday, Friday. Now, I will say we'll probably see some adjustments to this forecast late next week as the models are all over the place. I looked at the GFS, the Euro, the Canadian weather model. They don't show a whole lot. Like Thursday timeframe, there might be another front that tries to move in, but not a lot of confidence in that latter part of next week forecast. So we'll be fine-tuning that as we hopefully we'll stay mostly dry because there's a lot going on next weekend as well across the area. For my wife's birthday as well on the 25th. Next weekend is October 25th, so it's IUS Fest. Fun stuff for the entire family from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. They've also got a volleyball game there. And so that's going to be a fun event. And then right after that on October 30th, Thursday, put this on your calendar. Fun stuff. Free event here at Ivy Tech on their campus is the Trunk or Treat Fest with games and music and pumpkin crafts, trick or treat, food, all that good stuff there. And before we take off, I want to thank our partners and our advertisers here, Lions Roofing, lionsroofingco.com. I need to get rid of that and add this up here. So a great family-owned company right here in Memphis, Indiana, but they got you covered throughout Louisville Metro. Hopefully our roofs stay in good shape with the rain and the wind on the way this weekend. If you have any issues, though, give them a shout, 812-294-3595, or head to lionsroofingco.com. And if you have any roofing issues, you might have to get a hold of your insurance agent and all that stuff. And we had to do that recently in March with my mom's roof damage. The process went as good as it could possibly go, thanks to help from Michael Long here and Lions Roofing. But also they've had price reductions in their auto renewals here. And I saw that with my bill. If you want to get a quote, tell Michael I sent you, 812-578-3072. And he's got tons of 5-star reviews right here. Proud to be an American Star certified agency. Always hard for me to read that. Proud to be an American Star certified agency, excellence in customer experience. And you can level up your career right here, ivytech.edu. And click on Sellersburg campus, and you're going to find out about all of their programs there. And they will meet you where you are at. Whether you are in high school, you can get that free post-secondary education. If you're in your 30s or 40s, you want a different career, there you go. You've got the opportunities there. Tuesdays at the Tech, you can sign up for that. And again, they've got the Trunk or Treat Fest coming here in Sellersburg on October 30th. Job posting still available here. You might want to check and see if there's something for you if you want an opportunity. libspaving.com. So there you can just click on the career section and you can apply there online. One reminder, too, that you can always get your weather resources here at extolmag.com/weather. We've got the live stream up right there. Current temperature 61 degrees. Interactive radar, 3-day forecast, 7-day forecast. The weather story that I just posted, the day 1 risk of severe weather, day 2 risk of severe weather has us under level 1 out of 5. So it's a low-end severe weather risk category there, but you can always check that out. That is at spc.noaa.gov. You can click a little bit or scroll a little bit farther down and find the big interactive radar with different parameters here. If there's watches or warnings or anything like that, they are going to pop up on the map. And if there's any storm tracks or anything like that, those will also pop up. So you can look at alerts anywhere in the country if you're interested in that. Freeze warning out in Colorado. Looks like they've got winds in the Pacific Northwest. So you can look at the weather, what's happening across. Look at Alaska. They've had some rough weather up there. All right. I'm getting weather nerdy here. I'm just looking around what's happening across the United States. So there we go. That is the show. Let's see. Last comments popping in here. Okay, Jill, good question. Ben, those models greatly differ. How do you choose which and why you pick one over the other? So you get, I've been looking at the GFS weather model for, how many years? I don't know, 25 years or so. So you get used to the weather models and how they behave and their biases and their differences. Some of them you trust just way more inherently. And then you're also looking for congruency. And when they start to agree, which is typically the way to go, then your confidence goes up. Like the Euro won this one for this weekend because the GFS had storms coming in tomorrow afternoon. Well, it looks like they're going to come in during the overnight, and that's what the European weather model had. And then this week, we started to see the GFS coming together with the European weather model. So when you see those trends and when they start to agree, then your forecast confidence goes up. And then in the short-term weather models, the high-resolution weather models, say they go out about 48 hours. You're also kind of comparing and contrasting, and if, say, you're looking at 3 or 4 different models, if 3 out of the 4 are saying it's coming in at 7 o'clock, but this one says it's at 10, well, then you kind of throw out the outlier weather model. So there's a lot of different weather models you can compare and contrast, and so that's what we do in general with the weather models. Debbie Kirchgessner, my persimmon will be dropping more this weekend. Open them up, see if they've got a spoon or a knife. What the spoon is, will be shoveling heavy snow. The knife is cutting cold, harsh, cold winter. What is the other one? Spoon, knife. I forget what else is in. We're talking about the seed if you cut it in half. That's the old folklore. And, of course, everybody loves to talk about the woolly worms. And Lillian telling us, have a great, awesome weekend. Vicky Berger, have a wonderful day. Talk to you later. Christian Walker, have a great Friday. Plans for the weekend. I've got a lot of wood I need to split. Chores around the house. Not any big plans, thankfully, for this weekend. Next weekend, it's IUS Fest. I'll be out there if you want to stop by and say hello, meet and greet. I'll be at the NWSB booth, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Saturday, the 25th. So come on out and say hi if you'd like to. Jill Holland, thank you. Have a great weekend. Just be safe out there and have a good one. All right, we'll end it right there. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for joining us. You can always hit like, subscribe, get the notifications. As our weather gets more active, we'll be doing more than just Ben at 10. Sometimes we'll be covering any severe weather potential for hours. So get that notification. We'll be here for you for Southern Indiana and beyond on Extol Weather. Part of Extol Media out of New Albany, Indiana. And you can follow us on Extol Weather on Facebook, Extol Media on YouTube. Vicky's watching from the YouTube. My mom watches from the YouTube. Like, subscribe there. And also extolmag.com/weather. Let's have a great Friday and a great weekend. And probably just hang inside on Sunday. It's going to be pretty rough. All right, have a good one, and we'll see you Monday. Also, by the way, Monday, it's not just Ben at 10. It's always.
I'm Andy Fenton, and this is meteorologist Ben Peine. Start your week with Extol Unfiltered, caffeinated by NWSB.
Every Monday at 9 a.m. on Extol Media Socials and My Socials.
And My Socials, too. Join the conversation.
All over the socials. All right, have a great one, and we will see you Monday.